This is Discover Crypto, and we have a major market dump happening as we speak, and this was predicted in the Discord. We're going to show the receipts, everybody, and then we're going to go over what is happening with precious metals right now, and did we call this move? Are we capitalizing on this move? The answer is yes. We have some options up 300% today. I'm going to reveal those, and then we're going to look at the rest of the market because, like we said, everything is in a free fall. Now, I wish I could show you Bitcoin on the charts here, and I'm about to in 1 second, because what is happening is a complete breakdown in structure. We're seeing a complete loss of a very, very important trend line. And now when we look, woo, over the past hour, Bitcoin is down 2.7%, ETH is down 3.3%, XRP is down 3.2%, Doge down 3.4%. Do we have anything that is not green or anything not red? And it is straight to stable coins, folks. And if you look, the only thing gaining is gold and a couple other tokens. We got WorldCoin up, Canton up. But when we look at the losses, Mantle down 10%, Pump.Fund down 10%, Aave down 8%, AVAX down 8.3%, 5% dump in the last hour here, SWE down 7.5%. Now let's go into the markets. Let's look at TradingView. We're going to pull up the Bitcoin chart here. And I just want to show you what happened at 10 a.m. It's almost like it was ouch, ouch. That one stings. We talk about the 10 a.m. manipulation. Sometimes the manipulation is worse than other times. That one stings the eyeballs just looking at it there. And if we go to some of the larger time frames, you're gonna I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. There's a lot of people feeling a lot of pain in the market right now, but the important trend line, the important level in the sand that I was talking about is right here. You can see here, we have lost this level. And so now it is begging the question, are we going down to the next level, which is going to be around 84,500? So we're going to talk about why is the market dumping today? Is the dollar cooked? And is everybody selling their Bitcoin for gold, silver, copper, oil, basically anything that seems real? Because a lot of people are saying Bitcoin is not real, but I say nay. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But LFG, everybody smash the like buttons. The pain, a lot of pain here. Some are saying bullish divergences on the 4 hours. I'm glad you said that. Let's look right now. Yeah, we definitely are seeing this. You can see it right here. This is coming down. Oh, wow. If we reverse this, this is a strong indicator that Bitcoin is about to bounce. Now, I did open an XRP long, kind of accidentally. I'll pull up the XRP chart and I'll show you what I mean. I just had a stink bid long order that I had forgot to delete, and it was still there. And XRP came down to that level. So maybe we'll go to the XRP chart right after this. But if we can reverse this, it's going to look good. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen with this next candle print. This 4-hour candle is closing in 26 minutes. So maybe we go to the 1 hour. Are we seeing any? I'm not seeing much signs of a reversal impending, at least in the near term. We're definitely going to need to see, Bitcoin reverse in a short term here. Well, let's get into what happened yesterday, kind of talk about what we're seeing today here. Now, we do have BlackRock saying bonds no longer a safe hedge. Essentially, the yields that you're getting today are not going to be as high as the yields tomorrow. So today's yield will not be tomorrow's yield. They're saying, all right, it is going up. The rates are going up. You look at the 10-year, you look at the 20-year, you look at the 30-year bonds, rates are going up, meaning you're getting more of a return when you bet on US debt for 20 years or 30 years. But their prediction, BlackRock's prediction, do not buy this pile of feces because the yields are going to continue to rise and rise as people, investors, they want more coverage to hold US debt. They're going to want a more risk-rated return here. But I do want to play one clip from the Jerome Powell press conference. Jerome Powell came out. He was asked directly about gold, and his stance essentially is, oh, there's nothing to worry about here. Not too much to read into. Jerome Powell says not to read much into the rise in gold prices. It's only 20 seconds here. And he's saying the argument could be made that maybe we are losing credibility here. I'm not sure if I saw sound, but is we losing credibility? Is Jerome Powell losing credibility, or is the U.S. dollar going to lose credibility? A lot of people are saying no, it is the U.S. dollar that is losing credibility. And here we go. There we go. Now we got some sound. Hit the wrong button, and let's hit play.
Significant price increases we've seen for precious metals.
Don't take much message macroeconomically. The argument can be made. It's that we're
gold is on a historic run. We've never seen anything like this in decades. But he's saying, oh, don't look into this. Nothing to look at over here.
losing credibility or something. It's simply not the case. If you look at where inflation expectations are, our credibility is right where it needs to be. So we look at those things. We don't get spun up.
Our credibility is right where it needs to be. We don't worry about these things. We don't get spun up over these things. The bond market is saying otherwise. BlackRock is saying otherwise. Foreign central banks are saying otherwise. Metal prices are saying otherwise. So do not tell me to reject the evidence that I see with my eyes, Jerome.
Over particular asset price changes, although we do monitor them, of course.
We're monitoring the situation closely. So that's what we're getting from Jerome Powell. It's okay, everybody. We're going to monitor the situation. We want more than a monitoring of the situation. We want you to fix the situation that you created. And Jerome Powell currently is obsessed with a soft landing. Ask yourself, why is he obsessed with the soft landing? Because the plane ran out of gas in the middle of the sky. And so when do you need a soft landing? When you're about to crash. So he creates this runaway inflation. I think it is Jerome. I think we can point the finger. You could say, well, partly Trump's policy, partly Biden's policy, partly, what happened with COVID, partly just, foreign markets. It was really it was a lot of moving parts. No, if I had to point the finger at one person for our inflation around 2020 to 22 going from 2% to 9%, it is this guy right here. So the only reason we need a soft landing is because he let inflation almost hit 10%. And so now he has created the situation that we are seeing right now. And what are we seeing right now? Well, we're seeing them hold the rates steady as the recent dollar slide fueled a Bitcoin and crypto debate here. And so they voted to leave interest rates unchanged Wednesday. This decision widely anticipated, not a big surprise there. We did see two Fed officials dissent, voting in favor of a rate cut. So this is going to be 2 out of the 12 board members. There are 17 or 19, but only 12 vote. Now, after posting its worst annual performance since 2017, the dollar has continued to weaken this week, with it now sliding to a 4-year low. When asked about the dollar's decline, Trump, he's downplaying the move, saying the value of the dollar is great. And so people are taking that as a sign this man is okay with a weak dollar because asset prices will rise. Maybe not so much worried about the long-term implications here. Meanwhile, what are the expectations for the next rate cut, for the next meeting? We have a meeting in March. So a lot of eyes are going to be on this. I just went into Polymarket. I think it's going to be a lot more accurate than a random tweet or a random article. You can see the spike. This is the one day, and you can see Jerome Powell's press conference right there. No change did rise. I would say look at the 25 basis point decrease. We're just yesterday, 24 hours ago, 16% odds we were going to see a cut. So it's roughly 1 out of 6 people kind of expecting this. It would fall to 7%, or roughly 1 out of 14 people. So we had a 1 in 6 chance we're going to see a decrease. Maybe not entirely, let's just say likely, but potentially possible. From a 1 in 6 chance to a 1 in 14 chance. So very, very big difference here. So probably not going to see any Fed actions coming in March. Going to April, go to the 1 day. You can also see basically the same story. No change increasing, 25 basis points decreasing. And if you go to June, go to the 1 day. Once again, you're going to see essentially, now, look, we need to have at least 2. That's what people are betting on. And so this one's a little bit of an outlier. It is saying no change. But what is important about June, everybody? A lot of people probably piecing together what's happening here. Jerome is out. Jerome is out. And so now they're expecting, well, Jerome's going to hold the line in the sand. He's going to dig his heels in, and it's going to be the guy that replaces him. That's going to be when we start seeing some rate cuts there. Now, let's see. Let's get into the chat a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the shutdown, and then we'll get into some asset prices here. All right. Next assets to pump will be oil, copper, aluminum, and everything that normal people use. Going to make everything more expensive. Why do British people pronounce it aluminium? Aluminium. Where's the other I? I've heard that from multiple people. aluminum. It doesn't make any sense. Europores, you got to get it together. A lot of good buy prices, but unfortunately, no powder left to buy. I understand that. We're going to try to raise your dry powder on the sidelines. Maybe we'll do it with some copper or oil options. Let's see here. You can't stop inflation overnight. True. The real inflation happened under Trump's first term. The effects were felt during Biden's. Here we go again. Trump's going to pump up inflation all over again. A lot of people are talking about a weakened dollar. I love Tom Crown. Saw Tom Crown say deflation is a worry. Maybe I can find that post here. I don't think deflation is a worry whatsoever. I am worried about inflation. And you can look at the DXY. When we lose purchasing power with our dollar, imports become more expensive. Also, I do think oil is going to start rising. That will make goods and services more expensive. So I do think we're going to have a serious inflation conversation as we move forward here. He might have done it in a comment. I'm looking through Tom's. Big shout out to Tom Crown. We love Tom Crown here. Funny guy there. All right, now let's so that's the Fed decision. Let's talk about the government shutdown. Big change here. This has had a major change. This was today. This is today at 1 a.m. We're talking about 8-9 hours ago. But look what's happened in the 8 or 9 hours since. Look at that giant spike. So we had a huge move to the downside. We are not going to see a government shutdown. And then this is on the all. Let's zoom in a little bit to the 1 week. We fell to 44%, less than half, less than 50-50. More likely we weren't going to see a shutdown. And now we're up to 68%. It was 69. We're just going to say now it's up to 69% there. So this is higher and higher odds. We are going to see a shutdown. The markets had a little bit of a breath of relief here. Got as low as 39%. Got as low as about 38, 1 in 3 odds almost. And now above 2 out of 3 odds. So it does look like we might see a government shutdown in a couple days, folks, in just a few days from now. Now, on the backdrop of this, we have the SEC chair. He's saying now is the right time to put crypto into your retirement account. This is not the guy you would expect to say crypto's good to have in your retirement account. You would expect this guy to say, no, 10-year bonds, 20-year bonds, or 10-year notes, 20-year bonds, 30-year bonds. Heck, just get some 6-month T-bills. No, even this guy, the SEC chair, is saying it's okay to be a full-blown degen because we're dumping the dollar's value. We're printing the dollar excessively. And now we might even have a bunch of people who don't want to pay taxes. And so that's just going to even further push down the perceived value of the dollar by foreign nations and internally. And so things are looking very, very nutty for 2026 here. If you want to see that personified, it's the purchasing power of a McDonald's worker. In 1971, we famously went off the gold standard. Gold felt, it was kind of tied to $1. When it was no longer tied, guess what? Gold's value skyrocketed. That's what we're seeing today. Gold's $5,000 an ounce. Let's actually go up. Let's go back. Let's go back to 1971. So we're going to type in gold. We're going to hit all. We're going to hit week. We're going to shave this RSI. I feel like I'm on a log chart. 1971. Okay, here we go. We're in the 90s. There we go. So you used to get paid, I want to say it's $1.25. Maybe the average worker for McDonald's is slightly different, but it used to be $1.20. Oh, man. And you got all these gold bugs. They buy their house in 1970 for a pint of blueberries and a flannel jacket. They're getting gold in their couch cushions. And now they're like, oh, I don't know why young kids can't just pull themselves up from their bootstraps. Be like, Grandpa, we're in a different paradigm. Okay. The world has changed. And so this is gold's price, 1971. It's $40 an ounce. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Look at this though. So if you want any indication that your money is broken, you need to be paid $10,000 a week to have the same spending power as a kid working at McDonald's in July of 1971. The math says it's that bad right now. So you could have been dumping fries in the fryer, and it's the equivalent of making $10,000 a week. That is $1 million every 2 years here. Getting some great shorts in. I appreciate it there. Ooh, we're going to highlight the Discord. I got that coming up in a few tabs. The Discord is printing, although it is saying short. I did accidentally. I don't even want to say accidentally. I am in a slight loss on the XRP long. It's very, very tight on that one. I'm down like 10%. I didn't even want to open it. It was a stink bid, if you will, and it just hadn't been canceled yet. Now, that is just totally insane, by the way. Also, if you wanted to, just kind of have an idea of how crazy the gold market is right now, gold has added 1.75 trillion today. This is from a post from yesterday here at 5 p.m. The market cap of Bitcoin is 1.78 trillion. So gold added a Bitcoin market cap in one day. Maybe we go to asset prices, assets by market cap. Going to take us here. Let's just look. Now it is down today. It is down, so that is interesting to see here. Silver down a little bit more, and everything is down until you get to. If you're wondering about Facebook earnings report, they smashed earnings. Congrats, Meta. Good job there. Tesla was up aftermarket, and now looks like now down slightly, so it's pulled back a little bit. Walmart's up. Okay, Walmart's up. Now gold, $35 trillion. Silver hit above 6 trillion this week. And Bitcoin, it's actually less than 1.78. Now it's 1.68. So now you can say, no, it added more. It added more than a gold in one day. So good job, gold bugs. Now, a lot of people are saying Bitcoin's failing its narrative as the digital store of value, as the digital gold. I just want to highlight a couple differences just to reiterate, just to refresh your memory, just to realize, keep your eyes on the prize, like Maya Angelou says. Bitcoin versus gold, key differences. Gold miners, remember, they increase production when prices rise, unlike Bitcoin miners. Now, you can make an argument for silver. Silver's, kind of comes from different metals output. So silver a little bit different, but gold, they will increase production when prices rise. Unlike Bitcoin miners, they can add machines or they can switch them off, but they cannot change how many coins the network issues. So you can change how much gold you extract out of the earth. They killed Lincoln for using gold. What's crazy about the Lincoln story is that guy was like a top 5, top 10 famous actor. Okay. That would be like Leo DiCaprio going after Trump. You would be like, what the heck is going on? Is this even real life? That guy was a very, very famous. I mean, think about it. Lincoln. He's not going to the rink-a-dink theater. He's going to like the nicest theater in the nation. He's going to like the nicest places with the best actors and the best productions. So it's like Leo DiCaprio going rogue on Trump. It's a very, very strange story there. But John Williams Booth, of course, is who we're referring to there. Now, miners, they can add machines. They could turn them off. You could change how much gold you extract from the crust, but you cannot change how much Bitcoin you extract from the crusty basement dwellers. That was a stretch, but I went for it anyways. Global production has increased over the past quarter century. 1995, God, that's 31 years ago. 31 years ago. 1995, you feel old yet? Your Nintendo 64 came out closer than the moon landing to whatever. But 2,300 tons in 1995, 3,500 tons in 2018, 3,600 tons in 2025. And so gold is increasing. Its output is increasing. Treat it like, joking kind of, but like the VC getting your altcoin and they're dumping these tokens. They're getting more. Their vesting schedule is increasing. Now, another key difference with Bitcoin and gold has been seized. It's not just one time. It isn't just like, they did it once. This has happened globally. This has happened historically, and this has happened again and again. And it's never been easier to surveil how much gold a person has than it is in 2026. Think how difficult it is to find someone's gold in 1932. All right, I buried it in my yard. Good luck. Now, if they think you got a lot of gold, they're going to put a satellite on your backyard and they're going to watch where you dig. Okay, they're going to come out with metal detectors. They're going to come out. I don't know if a dog can sniff gold, but they're going to have a dog that can sniff gold. If not, they'll have a robot. Now, the biggest problem with gold and silver, they're functionally useless when you actually need them. When they say actually need them, meaning when your currency is truly broken, they'll just steal it from you. And Weimar, Germany here, 1923. Don't look into what happened 6 years later. Gold was demanded for reparations. If you refuse to give your gold, you could be jailed up to 3 decades. And then in the US, 1931, turn in all gold or face prison time. People's Bank of China, 1950, surrender all gold. And if you don't, labor camp or death penalty. 1939, Great Britain did it. 1962, I'll say that's India. Private gold ownership, I should have looked that up ahead of time. Private gold ownership banned, violations punishable by imprisonment. Every major global superpower has stormed private domiciles, kicked in your door of your home, flipped your bed mattress, dug in your couch cushion, said, why are there so many cracker crumbs in here? And they arrested and jailed citizens when gold was found. So gold bugs fail to understand you either need time, you either need to time the market and try and buy a less seizable asset. Bitcoin is the only asset that cannot be claimed by violence or regulation unless they torture you enough. But we're kind of just joking here. So that is the killer feature. They can seize your gold, but they can't force you to recite 12 words. Now, I mean, if they grab Deezy's toenails, I might be like, oh, there he goes. But, in a normal circumstance, they cannot seize your Bitcoin, folks. Now, I need to check on this. So I do have the website here. Fear and greed for Bitcoin, in the fear, 26 out of 100. Gold, I don't know if this is true, 99. So I went to the website. Let's zoom in. We're going to hit refresh. This is gold, fear, and greed. This is current. This is accurate. This is today. This is what people use. They use JM Bullion. We're going to zoom out. There's no way it could be at 99 still, right? That was just like a wick, right? Had to be. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Hit the like button. Here we go. I see it. Greed index gold. Oh my God. 99. It is at 99, folks. This is unprecedented. Look, maybe it stays 99 a lot longer. What that means to different people is going to vary. Maybe it means a week. Maybe it means a month. There's probably some gold bug out there. Oh, no, years possible. This is going to end eventually, folks, and just be prepared. If you're well up on, say, some options, say you bought, 10 ounces of silver back in the day, sell 2, get rid of a couple, maybe put it in, I don't know, go take your lady out on a nice day, go buy your kid that video game system. Do not be afraid to take profits. And I understand the money is broken. I understand, what we saw with the Hunt brothers in 1980 is not what we're seeing today. I get that. But I would just caution. I heard someone, and this is going to be something I wasn't even going to mention because I wasn't trying to FUD too hard here. But I did a silver post. This pissed off a lot of people. Silver dumps worse than a shitcoin. I just showed facts. I was attacked in these replies. People really came at. You would have thought I spit on their grandmother the way they were treating me. And I heard, say what you want about them. Gareth Soloway. I heard Gareth Soloway talk about silver. He said the people are reacting to me when I talk about silver the same way people reacted to me when I talked about Dogecoin in 2021. The higher your parabola to the upside, the stronger the parabola to the downside, typically speaking. Now, I'm not saying, I have put out a public call for silver to 125. That's when I expect a reversal. Maybe we hit it, maybe we don't, maybe we exceed it. Right now, we're probably 110. But what we're seeing with people's vitriol, their attitude, with the way they're looking at it, it is showing that there's a lot of fear-based buyers, and fear-based buyers will be fear-based sellers, and it happens every single time. This isn't anything new. And I do have probably one of the funniest memes I've seen in a long time. Now, this is a meme about precious metals using Interstellar. Probably not going to play the whole thing. It is 48 seconds. But this guy, it's almost had 1 million views. This guy says it's his most viewed video here. Here we go. Let me pull up the screen right here. Boom. Interstellar, but Matthew McConaughey's son is the worst trader of all time. If this is you, if you're the son, you better hit that like button.
Hey, Dad, it's been a while. Do you remember those silver coins and gold bars that you kept in the garage?
Son?
Well, I just found them and I sold them all for Bitcoin while it's at $120,000. I figure Bitcoin is much more likely to pump than these random metals in 2026. I feel like Bitcoin's programmed to go to $1 million basically in the next year. And I figure there's no point in owning silver or gold right now. And frankly, I'm going all in on crypto. So I took a mortgage out on the house Mom said I could. and I bought Dogecoin, XRP, Ethereum, and I figure by the time they're back from space, we'll probably be billionaires. Anyways, hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.
I should have stayed in the room. I should have stayed in the planet with the giant tidal waves. That's what I should have done. Or I should have pulled out and left them on the bed sheet. Now, why did I go there? That definitely wasn't necessary. So I do apologize for that one. Let's get back into the markets here. Why did he go there? I don't know. Make no sense. But first, gold and silver. Now, oil starting to rally. That is bad news for Bitcoin. Remember, we gave you the call. USO oil options. We talked about we talked about what to get there. I shouldn't send the video, please. It is. I'll show you the account. Clemente, not Will Clemente, not a baseball player from a famous family. No, this guy, I think he posted. He did a repost. He does a lot of these. Crypto's down so bad we started trading copper. I've never been so disgusted in this industry. You know what? I swear I didn't know he had that post there, but that's a good segue to where we're going. I swear that was actually the next. I didn't know he was posting about copper. Copper prices surge, highest level on record, another 9% this month. When everything's at record highs, it should tell you something. When everything's in a bubble, nothing's in the bubble. Okay, when everything is pumping, nothing is pumping. What is happening is the underlying denominator is losing value, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, on to copper. Before I show the copper, the Discord was popping off with the shorts, folks. You see closed out, it means closed out after take profit 2. So you can kind of move your stop loss there. This short played out. This short was almost like an immediate one that hit take profit 2. Take profit 1 at 10:02. 9:52. So 10 minutes, you got a profitable trade there. Take profit 2 at 10:13. Take profit 1 at 10:02. So you wait 20 minutes and you hit your second take profit. And also there's an ADA short that went in there. And you know DZ refused. You know I wasn't going to short Cardano. Shout out to Cardano. If you do hold some Cardano, stake your ADA to DZ pool. DEEZY. I'm the only one out there. But back to copper. Gave you this one. It was up at 3. It was a 320% pump. I posted this and said, take profit. I said, take profit. I sold a little, not a lot here, but we gave this at 72 cents. And if you want to know, how do I find these? We have a Discord link down below. You'll see a thing called DZ Drop Zone. And a lot of people are getting wins here. Just cash out on copper. Still think higher. 10K thanks to DZ. This guy jumped in. You can see here when it was trading higher at 375. I'm laying out the oil calls, telling you when I'm closing options. I'm giving you the copper calls there. I'm giving you the entry. I'm telling you the price. So 80 cents, went a little lower, dipped in, average entry 72 cents there. So that's what we're looking at. So good job if you're jumping in. Now, you can maybe say, oh, this is crypto. No, this is a channel to make money. We love crypto. I love what Bitcoin stands for. I'm never going to give up loving Bitcoin. But when there's free money on the table, I'm going to tell you to pick up the free money on the table. I'm not going to say, well, don't pick up that money because the money isn't labeled altcoin. No, that's stupid. Okay. What we're trying to do is make some money here. Now, on the oil, this is just a smaller position. Again, we're up 67% on the oil futures here. Okay. So if you jumped in, we've up 2/3 here. So doing pretty good there. So yes, I'm telling you to get some options here and there. Is it going to change your life? Potentially. Let me just double down on copper one quick second. Then we're going to talk about some altcoins here. It takes 15 years from discovering copper in the earth to actual production. Building an AI data center wraps up in about 2 years. So copper mine, 15, AI center, 2. 13-year time lag creates a supply cliff. What we're watching isn't raw material prices themselves, but order backlogs, high voltage transformers, and cable vendors that are backed up for 4 years. I decided to do a little research myself. I found something from the International Energy Agency, going to be probably the largest energy agency out there. And if you look, it found procurement to obtain, to buy, to purchase some of this equipment, 2 to 3 years for cables, 4 years for large power transformers, specialized components, meaning you need a custom cable, a custom transformer, custom infrastructure, even longer delays than 4 years. And so, yes, copper's looking nuts. I'll show you a silver chart. This is from beginning of 2025, 30 to 110. Gold, beginning of 25, 2600 to 51. Copper, beginning of 25, its pump is not like the others, and so I do expect copper to catch up, folks. So there you go. All right, let's talk about some altcoins here. Hopefully you guys aren't feeling like you can't touch anything besides crypto. Stock market's giving me some of my best gains. You know, buying Robinhood under $10. I don't know. It's like close to 170 or something like that. You know, that was a great play. Maybe it's 150. Some of these options, you know, we gave silver options at 60 cents. I took profits of maybe a little early there. It is now trading at $4,000. So $60 positions are trading at $4,000. We thought we were smart after a pullback to 2,000 and it retraced. We sold then. Thought I was smart. You know, I left a 2-3x on the table, but we're trying to chase other 10x's, 20x's there. Title, yeah, we did change the title. We were going to lead with BlackRock, and we end up BlackRock. Essentially, I can just kind of give you the markets were dumping, so I want to tell people about the markets dumping. BlackRock essentially is just kind of saying yields, 20-year bonds, 30-year bonds are a sucker's investment, and it's, you know, sure they might want some income, but essentially they're saying the yields for these products are going to go even higher because investors are going to want a premium for taking on U.S. debt. They want a premium because they think it's maybe somewhat likely the U.S. is going to default on its debt. And then that's when we see things like we saw in 1926 in Germany. All right, let's talk about Coin. Coin teaming up with a Solana altcoin, and it's the only Solana altcoin we've given a buy signal for, I would say, over the last 3 months. Maybe before that, we were looking at Camino and a couple others. But Jupiter is, you know, something that's been on my radar lately. We have bought some Jupiter lately, probably down, but might buy more to average that lower entry cost. We're going to go to the Jupiter chart right after this. Coinbase announced its integrated Jupiter exchange directly into its on-chain trading stack. It means the millions of Solana-based tokens can now be traded on Coinbase, not the normal app, but, you know, the Coinbase trading app there, Coinbase Prime, for the first time ever, all through Jupiter. Rather than the slow manual process of listing tokens on centralized order book, they're now using on-chain technology to grant instant access to Solana native assets. Users can deploy existing Coinbase balances and payment methods to trade tokens from a self-custodial wallet. And so, again, you're not going to buy it on your app underneath Bitcoin. You have, you know, Copper, Inu, Baby Doge, but you are going to have the ability, if you upgrade to the more robust trading app. This is Jupiter right here. We bought somewhere in this symmetrical triangle. We might actually be up. I would have looked, but I don't have my Solana wallet on this. My Solana wallet is on my home computer. I haven't exported it to anything else. My Solana wallet in my phone is just Solana with, that's what I use to instantly settle things with like Tether or USDC. And so I don't know my exact entry, but we definitely got in somewhere in this symmetrical triangles. I don't really think we're down, or, you know, we're probably in a fairly good position here. But this is, you know, a potential upside and downside. If you zoom out, it's at its lowest ever. I typically like to buy a trend on the way up, but sometimes, you know, when there's something solid, you look at DeFi Llama, Jupiter does look solid. Let's zoom in a little on the price here, though. Where do we have our target? So, you know, the way this works, we've talked about this before. It is when it touches the bottom and the top, not when it only touches one side. You're going to see a lot of sketchy TA where they're like, all right, this is our target. No, it's not. It's when it hits both. All right. I don't make the rules. Dorks with, pencil protectors in their shirt pockets do, not me. Now, this is going to give us an upside target and a downside target. Upside target is going to be around 31 cents. Right now, it's trading around 20 cents. It's actually pretty good. Downside, I don't really know if it's possible. I don't know if Jupe can go down to 10 cents. Why does DZ think Jupe can't go down to 10 cents? Well, it's like an actual company. It has like actual revenue. It's actually doing something. You can go to DeFiLlama.com. This teaches you a lot of decentralized finance. You go to metrics, you're going to scroll down, you're going to see revenue and fees. And there you go. It's fees and revenue. And DZ said revenue and fees. He clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. Smash the down. No, okay. All right, so it's fees and revenue. I apologize. You click on revenue, you're going to see Jupe, typically one of the top gainers, especially it's down. You know what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. People are jumping ship to trade metals on hype. This is probably, I think this is 24 hours. Oh, I think it's 24 hours is the data that we're looking at here. Let me go full screen just real quick. Yeah, so this is ranking by revenue. I'm going to rank it by revenue 30 days, shrink it again. And Jupiter has climbed. So if you could trade precious metals on a thing, you've been climbing the past day or two. But if you look at the past month, Jupiter, not quite a top 10 project, although it does flirt with top 10. So when you're like on the cusp of being a top 10 revenue making project, yeah, I'm going to be kind of bullish on you. And I'm going to say, maybe a little bit of the bottom is in. Let's click on Jupiter here. So one of the things I do like to add to this metric, I don't like to have both. We're just going to do revenue, and then we're going to add price. And then kind of gives you a good little indication. Yeah, look at that. Revenue started to spike, but then we kind of had a bearish period. We have, tariff threats. We have just crypto nuking left and right. But I will say it does seem like revenue potentially slightly on the decline. Coinbase integration should reverse this. I expect the price to appreciate as well. So there you go, a little Jupiter deep dive. Aerodrome. I know we got a lot of Aero holders out there. AIXBT, it does a lot of posts, but it just did a post on Aero versus Uniswap, which is one of my foundational theses on why I like Aero. I might even go back to DeFi Llama here. Here, let's hit back. Aerodrome, where do we see it? Aerodrome coming in at 13. 13 there. All right, so it took me back to 24 hours. Let's go back to 30-day, clicking 30-day. Aerodrome over 30 days, so it was 13. So Aerodrome is trending upward in revenue, meaning its revenue for the past 24 hours has a higher ranking than its revenue for the past 30 days. And so it looks like ETH and Base may be getting a little extra attention right now. We're going to take off that. We're going to add price. Actually, no, Aero's not a good one to do price. Add market cap. This, it's a healthy pullback with a healthy pullback on the revenue. But I feel like it's, I don't know, kind of maybe bottomed out in this period and now maybe moving to the upside. I think if we can get our revenue higher than, say, what it was the 21st of January or the 13th of January, if we can print one of these in the next 2 weeks, I'll start feeling a little bit better. I want to see this revenue start moving to the upside. But they trade at 2.4, their revenue. Uniswap, 179 times revenue. And so if you look at this, maybe this is a nice play for Aerodrome. I'm liking what I see with Aerodrome. I'm liking what I see with Jupiter. Do we know if altcoins are going to, recover in the next week, month, season, half year? I don't think anyone knows the exact date, but I do think obviously they're going to have their time for the quality projects. Right now is not the time to invest in vaporware. It's not the time to invest in meme coins that don't do anything. And it's not time to invest in something that you might need to sell in the next 4 hours. That is not a world that I want to live on. I saw one, it was a clip of a pump.fun trader, and he would say, oh, this narrative is just so, I love this narrative. He apes in, and then he sells it in 10 minutes. I thought you loved the narrative. I thought this is something that you want. That's how I feel about Jupiter. That's how I feel about Chainlink. That's how I feel about Cardano. That's how I feel about Aerodrome. That's how I feel about quality projects that are actually building something. Just be careful. If there's no underlying thesis on why someone should buy that, maybe you need to ask yourself, well, why the heck am I holding it? Why am I not selling it? Now, let's just kind of look at the direction of the markets. Fidelity launching their own stablecoin, the FDD. I don't know if I love it. It's better than PayPal's, which is the PYUSD, and maybe the FID. The FID. That's the best we could come up with. The FID. All right, chat. Rank the name out of 10. let's see. I would say USDC, that's very close to a 10 out of 10 because the DC rolls off your tongue. Discover crypto. Maybe I'm biased here. USDC rolls right off. PYUSD, that's a 1 out of 10. You look at that, you think of something else. You know what I'm talking about. FID, DZ's going to rank that. That is a 2 out of 10 doo-doo name. Say, I don't know. It's inviting jokes about the double D. But yeah, it's riding on Ethereum. If you don't see where this is heading, not sure what to tell you at this point, folks. Let's see here. Too close to FUD. Very good point. Very good point. FUD. It's the FUD token. You know what? When you're feeling FUD in the market, you got to stable up. So why not buy some FUD? They should have just called it FUD. The Fidelity Universal Digital Dollar. Fidelity, I'm giving you these nuggets for free. All right. If you want to send me some Cardano or just stake your ADA at DZ Pool, that will be appreciated. Aluminium. Thank you for this, Rye. Aluminium is how it's spelt. You know what? You're the weirdo for saying spelt. And I understand it is a word, but we say spelled. Is spelt in most countries outside of North America. You are the weird ones. Looking at our imperial system, you're probably right. You're probably right there. I mean, why do we do miles instead of kilometers? Double D for a double dose of that pimpin'. Yes, that is. What is that? A Chappelle Show reference? I do remember the nerdy white guy who made that comment, but I can't remember what the sketch comedy show was there. No, that was Idiocracy. That was Idiocracy, not a sketch comedy whatsoever. It was just that intro scene that kind of played differently than the movie. They're dragging their feet on the Clarity Act. I'm about to mention the Clarity Act there. Idiocracy is a fantastic movie. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. And I was thinking about watching a new movie, that new Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie. I used to love Walking Dead. I like Glenn. Glenn was one of my favorite people. And they have a new movie coming out, or is out. And I've heard mixed reviews. Some are saying it is bad. Some are saying it is good. I guess I'm just going to try to determine myself there. It is called The Rip. The Rip. Should DZ with his wife watch The Rip tonight? Is The Rip worth it? It's about cops robbing drug dealers, I think. So I don't know. Sounds like it might be entertaining. All right. So we got Airdrome. We got the FUD dollar or the FID dollar. Let's do a little ETH charting here. ETH lost 3K again. How low can ETH go? How low can it go? Can it go down low? I guess we're going to find out here. So let's go. We got the ETH. Now, this is the symmetrical triangle that we've been talking about for a while. Does look like, the breakdown is going to be the more likely scenario here. If this technical target were to play out, look at me cheating. Look at me. That's not where the bottom hit. It hit right here. If this were to play out, it's a little crooked, whatever. Your $2,000 ETH. I think we bounced at the purple box. I did a video on the purple box. I think it's maybe it's the Mr. Beast ETH video because I do some ETH TA on that video. This is an important liquidity zone. This 25 to 2400-ish range. You can see it was important here. You can see it was important here. You can also see it was also, one of the first places it cooled down. But you also see this during last cycle in 2021, 2022. During our bottom before we got a dead cat bounce, it was this area right here. And then after that, I mean, ETH isn't even going to touch it. But this is where DZ's predicting we're going to bounce, folks. So there's going to be a little bit of psychological, a little bit of TA. You combine the two, you get a little minute rice there, 2,500. And this is 2366. So maybe 2369. That's what I'm looking at ETH. 2K seems a little unlikely, but I guess I could make an argument for it. And that's going to be the weekly moving averages here. The EMA, 20, 50, 30. Let's see, which ones do we have up here? Always doing different charts. Okay, so I'm going to do it this way because sometimes you try like hell to right click on that thing and it just doesn't want to let you. So we have the 100 and the 200. That is what we need. We have lost the 100 here. I'm not even going to hide that stuff. So we've lost. Oh, yeah. We lost the 100 this week. We lost the 100 potentially. I mean, you could say we'll wait for confirmation. We still got 3 days on this candle. So maybe I won't say confirm, but we are losing the 100 week as we speak. Last cycle, we lost the 100 week. We did go below the 200 week. And Wow, I didn't even realize we went that much lower during the tariff nukes there, Liberation Day drop. We fell 40% below the 200-week moving average. Oh my God, is that going to be right at 2,000? It's even lower. $1,500 ETH. Yeah, there's scary scenarios out there, and what's even, I want to say, scarier, that would create a higher low. So you're gonna have the bull tard say technically it's an uptrend, and I guess technically they would be right because lower, higher, higher, higher. You could maybe skip that one and then say higher. 2K, 1,500K, 1,500 ETH. Oh man, that's looking nuts. All right, folks. Tonight though, I am gonna do an XRP video. We are seeing some bullish signs. Now, after the market crash here, maybe not, but the number of wallets with 1 million XRP is rising again. I didn't have time this morning to back test this metric. I want to see what this specifically does when with the million wallets. I'm trying to find the X thing. Get out of here, dude. Who are you? Who are you? Leave. Patrick. Oh, it's Patrick Witt. Still, get out of here. I'm talking about XRP, and you're kind of killing my vibe. So I'm gonna do a little deep dive here. It's coming from a Sentiment post. Sentiment is going to be this is where you get all these graphs from. It's just big. This is like a coin glass, a crypto quant. They look at different metrics here. It's down 4% since the start of the year. The amount of millionaire wallets rising for the first time since September. So, all right, yeah, I'll do a little bit more of a deep dive and see what's going on with XRP. Maybe even do, I don't know if I should do the moon math. All right, yes or no in the chat. Yes or no in the chat. Gold rose 1.75 trillion in one day. Should I do the math? What does XRP look like if the market cap goes up 1.75 trillion in one day? What is, what's the number? What's the number for XRP? Is it like a $20? Is it a $30 XRP? What are we looking at if XRP's market cap rises what gold rose in 24 hours? Someone's saying, no, do not do that. Yes, do it. No. Around $30 XRP. I'll do the exact math there. Looks like we're getting some mixed signals here. Okay, see, now I'm seeing 22. Now I'm seeing 30. No, yes. I don't know. All right, look. Here's the bigger question. What does the XRP community want? They want the moon math. They definitely want the moon math. So you guys are like, do not give them hopium. Do not get, or see, now we're seeing $80 XRP. All right, look, do like Nike and do it. Do it. I'll do it. All right, look, I won't make the whole video. I'll tack it on at the end. I will tack it on at the end. But the millionaire wallet thing, I just want to see what happens because look, this is smart money. This is big money. This is people maybe accumulating for something. I don't think it's going to be escrow wallet shenanigans. Escrow wallet has a lot of XRP every month that it can sell on the open market. Oftentimes they pull back 50%, 70%. That still means, millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of tokens. And so look, I'll do some math. All right. I'll pull on the accountant hat. I'll pull on the translucent tennis visor. I'll put on my pocket protector here. All right, Sony. I want to give my flowers to Sony. Doubling down on Soneium, not giving up on Soneium. They just did another $13 million investment to his partnership with Startail, signaling long-term infrastructure strategy. So I just want to give a shout out to Sony. I do think this is a good thing. So many large corporations, they go into crypto when it's popular. A Starbucks, a Nike. Oftentimes, they will then abandon it once, the Kool-Aid kind of starts tasting like piss. Sony is still drinking the piss bucket. So I do appreciate what Sony's doing here. I'm an Xbox guy. I'm a Nintendo guy. All right, I grew up with Nintendo Power, N64, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, NES, because I'm old. Low G man, probably one of my favorite games on that one. I am a Nintendo. I'm a Nintendo lad through and through. I have Xbox, but still here, I love what I'm seeing with Sony. Now, the best console out of those three, it's Nintendo. Got to give it to Nintendo, probably. I don't know. PS2 is just so popular too. It's I don't know. Chat. What is the best out of all those three? It's not Atari. Get your crap Atari out of here. Gamecast. No, Craig. I don't think so. No, Gamecast. Sega has some cool products. Let's see. So saying Xbox is the best, PlayStation's the best, Nintendo's king. Dreamcast. Yeah, Dreamcast. I kind of knew what you meant. Sega Tennis, top tier game on Dreamcast there. Look, I had Tetris fever. I was a Tetris fanatic when I grew up. And if you don't know what Tetris fever is when you play Tetris so much, you see blocks falling everywhere in your vision. And so I would just to look at this, I see blocks falling here, and you'll be like, yeah, I mean, everything. You look at anything and everything, you're seeing blocks fall. You'll see it in letters. You'll see it on the rooftops of buildings. You'll see it in your kitchen, on cabinets, on boxes, on looking down a hallway, people's eyebrows, you name it. You're just visualizing blocks, and you're spinning them, and you're like queuing up the next block, and you're like looking on the right. And I had full-blown Tetris fever. I played it so much. It is not a good thing. So don't play video games that much, folks. Go learn how to do something. Cernovich, interesting take here. We got this protein bar Schiller. Now, he's a political commentator, fairly popular one. AI trading is going to lead to a collective sell-offs, as it's going to be AIs trading against each other. Retail will panic and join the animal spirits. I hope you're all reading me are smarter than that and see it coming. Definitely will see a 10 to 20% AI caused crash. Thought this one was just an interesting take there. I don't know, 10, 20%. I don't think anyone knows, but I do think you're going to have more and more AI algo trading. The more you have that, the more you can have a AI algo cascade trigger. And the larger that trigger, the larger the sell-off. And when you have people on vacation, eating lunch, not at the computer, 1962, they're not selling. Why? Because they're doing those things. They're smoking a cigarette out in the hallway, blowing the smoke in a kid's face, looking at their secretary in an inappropriate way. That's 1962. Now that same, creep in the hallway, the AI is trading for him. And so you're going to have more and more automatic selling. And so I think it's actually a pretty good prediction there. PlayStation, Sega, PC, the master race. We got a PC master race guy here. Excite Bike. That was a pretty good one there. Still playing Wii Sports with the kids. That's a good. Love to see that. All right, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed. Look, I'm not that old. All right, I'm not that old. I am 24 years old. Maybe a little more. All right. Didn't DeepSeek win a trading competition? Yeah, but I think when you zoom out, end up losing a lot of stuff there. Oh, I thought your name was Atari. I was going to say, well, what's your favorite one? My personal favorite console, Xbox 360. Yeah, I think the PlayStation's so crappy. You walk in a room, you see it, you do a 360, and you walk out of the room. All right. That is a old 4chan meme for you there, folks. All right, well, folks, let's look at Bitcoin's market real quick. We saw the 10 a.m. manipulation. Boy, did we see it. Where are we? Where are we? Jeez, where am I living in? All right, so there's the 10 a.m. manipulation, 9:20, 9:40, 10 a.m. But it does look like we are creating higher lows on these 20-minute candles. I'll zoom in a little. Okay. All right. Now, that 20-minute candle must have been like a minute old. It was 3 minutes and like 40 seconds old. So going back to 3 minute. All right. Are we seeing the beginning signs of a recovery? Little bit. Now, this is how much credence should you give this? Little bit. I don't know. That was my Jerry Seinfeld impression. So we see it on the 3 minute. We see it on the 5 minute. We haven't seen it on the 10 minute yet. So this is kind of one of the signs you want to see as we potentially start forming a bottom. You want to see some bull divs start forming on the small time frames, rolling into the larger time frames, and then that gives you your bullish thesis. Let's see here. Thoughts on Namina? I'm not aware. I can look into that one. I might type it in over here. Limit long 83. My stink bid XRP. it was 181, and it was just literally coming in below a previous wick. I'm about to pull it up right here for you. 181. I'm still in it, and I'm like 5% down, or I'm just gonna watch it. Maybe I'll dump it right after the stream. You'll see the wick. Yeah, I just came in right below there. So like literally 181.0. And so I do have a accidental long on XRP. Oh, wow. Look at that. I didn't even realize. Wow. Okay. When the fuck did I draw this? I think I drew this Monday. Should have been watching it. Would have got them shorts in just like the rest of the Discord did. Again, congrats if you were in the Discord and you got those shorts triggered, fired off, hitting these take profits. XRP short right there. I should have listened instead of longing it an hour later, but them are the breaks, folks. So yeah, I'll do an XRP video, especially since I'm seeing this very interesting price action on the 1 hour chart. Yeah. Okay. So we did revisit the scene of the crime, and then Bitcoin just said, no, everything is going to dump today. I hope you're prepared, XRP bulls. So smash the like button on the way out. I appreciate everybody hanging out. It's another wonderful DZ stream. Smash that like button if you do appreciate the other streams. Drew's got some stuff to do. Kelly's got he's moving right now. TJ's a little bit busy as well. But here we go, folks. Smash it on the way out. I will see you guys in the future. And tonight, XRP videos. If you hold XRP, turn on those notifications. We're Discover Crypto. We bring you live content every single weekday and content 7 days a week. That's all we got.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.